Hello everybody, today we're going to go over a pistol that I've really been looking forward to reviewing. It was the standout firearm for me at SHOT Show 2024. Dallas, Texas, Rost Martin RM1C. Let's get into this. All right, so before we get too deep into this, I want to give a big shout out to Murphy's Guns here in Tucson. They're the FFL and SOT that I use for all of my transfers. Great people over there, huge selection, and they are super helpful. Whether you're looking for a firearm, whether you're getting a transfer from a company outside of them, or whether you are getting a silencer. Murphy's Guns Tucson is where I go. Give them a big shout out. If you happen to go there, tell them I sent you. Thanks for watching. Let's get into the pistol. All right, so when it came to SHOT Show 2024, there was a lot of cool guns there. There was 367 Glock clones, 912.5, 1911 and 2011 variants that were all essentially the same, 9,842 AR-15s that were maybe just slightly different from each other, and then all of a sudden there was 147 tactical lever guns that everybody went goo goo gaga over. This is the one that stood out to me. This guy right here, the Rost Martin RM1C. Now that's not to dismiss any of those firearms, but Rost Martin came out with this and they came out swinging. And I say that because if you're going to be a brand new company and your first product coming out of the gate is going to be a pistol, the almost natural inclination is to make something that is already compatible with the industry, make something that is already out there, AKA a Glock clone. A ton of good Glock clones out there, not taking anything away from them, but it truly is the easy way out. You can make a Glock Gen 3 compatible, Gen 4 compatible Glock clone for almost nothing, and it's guaranteed sales. Instead of taking the easy way out, Rost Martin brought us something that was basically new. Now, when I say basically new, there's going to be some features about this that you likely recognize, and that is from AREX. They did have some help with AREX in the design of this, although there are a ton of features and a ton of things that went into this that are non-AREX, that are Rost Martin specific. So if you do happen to see some of those similarities, while it may not be 1000% never done, it is definitely something new on the market. So with that said, Rost Martin did send this out to me for free for the channel to review. It is not the last time you'll see it on here. I will have a lot of other videos with it in there, but just know that as far as my relationship with Rost Martin goes, this is where it's at. I'm not an affiliate of theirs or anything like that. I've not been paid. In fact, a little quick thing about the company is that when I talked to them about this and the subject of paid reviews came up, we were both not very open to paid reviews. I don't accept them. They didn't want anybody to, they didn't want to work with anybody that would ask them for that. So just right away, from a company standpoint, total respect. Spoiler alert for the people with TikTok length attention spans, I really like this gun. So to get some quick specs out of the way, we'll do some more close-up, in-depth parts to this, but it does have a black polymer lower, and there are gray, green, FDE, and black, I think, options when it comes to the slide color. It is 5 inches tall, 5.5 inches tall with the extended base plate, and 5 inches tall with the flat base plate. Now these are 15 and 17 round mags, and they are CZP-10C compatible. It is 7.1 inches long, has a really nice beaver tail here, and comes with a 4-inch cold hammer forged barrel with a 1 in 10 twist. Pretty standard twist for a 9mm pistol. Now it is a nitrocarbonized steel slide with very usable forward and rear cocking serrations, and has an RMR footprint for the base. It does come with a steel metal base plate that has the RMR footprint in it, and a metal cover plate for the slide. And top that off with, as you can see here, a light rail, and it has interchangeable back straps from small, medium, large. I have the large in it right now. It came with the medium. And I guess to finish off the quick specs before I get into the features of it, the quick specs is sights. They are XD compatible sights with a U-notch rear and a white front dot front. It is roughly G19 length, this being my carry gun, G19 Gen 3. It is roughly, let me turn it around here. It is roughly, if I line up the tops of the slides, it is roughly G19 length. However, it is considerably narrower, especially in the grip, as you can see here. Now this is a 1.1 inch wide grip, and it is noticeably narrower in my hands. Now, I'm not saying that's good or bad being narrower, just letting you know. It is small enough, it is a small enough grip that I did have to put the large back strap in to fit my giant meat hooks. It was much more comfortable for me to shoot at that point. I like big guns like me. It is what it is. But this is a much narrower grip for those people who think that Glock grips are just a little bit too wide, a little bit too bulky for them. Now the features of this gun, when I say features, I mean the things that stand out from just basic specs, right? So the features of this gun is, starting at the bottom, it does have a bit of a mag well built into it. I have not had a problem with mags catching up or anything like that. Sorry, there's some flies around here. But it does have a bit of a mag well, a bit of a bevel, especially this nice big front bevel. So when you aim your mag in, it catches that bevel and guides it right in. On up, it has a very sandpapery grip texture. It's not super aggressive, and I honestly wish there was a bit more of it. And when I say bit more, I think the placement here, the sides and the front, I think that grip texture is fine. But up through here, I would like to see a little bit more of it personally. However, if you have a reasonably decent grip when shooting, you're not going to have a problem. But I do think it's tastefully done, and it's a nice texture. I just wish there was a little bit more of it. Now, from there, we do have ambi controls. Left and right mag release, and left and right slide stop. Moving forward from there, we get into probably the one thing that if I had to choose one thing on this pistol to change, it would be up here, and that is the, I don't know, memory spots. These areas here, there's some grip texture here and here where you would normally like ride your thumb, right? Except it doesn't really do much, in my opinion. You really have to push inward for it to do what I think it should be doing. If this was a little bit more of a ledge, I would have zero, and you know how I am. There's almost nothing that gets a free pass on this channel, but I wouldn't have a complaint. I wouldn't have a single negative thing to say about this pistol if it had a nice healthy thumb ledge there. So that's the one thing I would change about it, is a little bit more grip texture and have a thumb ledge here, because really this texture here is more of an idea rather than, in my opinion, rather than a useful place to gain control of the firearm. Now it brings us up to the slide. Yes, I have skipped the trigger because I want to do that last. It brings us up here to the slide. The slide does have widely spaced, fairly deep forward and rear scales, or forward and rear serrations. They work quite well. They work quite well. They're not so aggressive that they tear up your hand, but they're not so shallow that they don't really work very well. Now, one of the things they added to the slide here that I think was very forward thinking was the anti-glare milling in the top of the slide. Now, I have an optic on this, but it continues across the top of the optic plate if you're not running an optic. But this milling here in the top of the slide, anti-glare, it helps immensely. I know some people out there have probably never experienced that out here in the Arizona sun that sits basically right here when you're shooting. It helps tremendously. Now, I can't disassemble this and show you the inside of the slide. Inside of the slide is fairly basic. I mean, if you're familiar with semi-automatic striker fire pistols at all, you can look at the inside of the slide and go, oh yes, I see how this works and all that other stuff. But moving forward into the barrel, cold hammer forged 4-inch barrel. It has some nice dressy cuts, you know, right around here in the chamber area. But then you move up to the very front and it has a deeply beveled crown, which is nice. That's usually an upcharge for a lot of places. A lot of companies don't do that, but it has a nicely beveled crown. So if you happen to whack the end of your barrel on something, you're not going to lose accuracy. So I think that we've already seen a number of things that when it comes to a company, you know, first pistol right out the gate, optic cut, serrations, the anti-glare cuts in the top, the front bevel crown in the barrel. We're looking at a lot of upgrades that people normally pay more money for. Which brings us to this trigger. I love this trigger. This is a nice trigger. I'm not a trigger snob. I ran stock Glock triggers for years and years and years. They work great. This trigger is a really, really nice trigger. They say it's a 5-pound trigger. I have been weighing it at around 5.2 for me. That could be because of all the crap that's in here, because of all the testing I've done with it, which we'll get into in a second. But it's a flat face trigger. It breaks at 90. Very, very short break and an even shorter reset. Like, this is a very nice, very controllable trigger. Like I said, nice flat face design, very nice trigger. I very, very much, at SHOT Show when I first picked this pistol up and tried that, I was like, oh, they got something here. As long as it works well, they have something here. And then of course the trigger is housed by a massive trigger housing. So if you have gloves on, not only do they have the glove bevels in the frame, but you have a nice giant mag well for people with ogre hands like me. So my experience with this, at this point, I have just over 1,000 rounds through this gun. I have not had a single malfunction with magazine, ammo, or the firearm itself. I have run various ammo, 115 and 124 grain, MagTech, S&B, BSR or something like that, one of those 3-lettered like Russian or Turkish ammo companies, and Fiocchi, as well as 124 grain XTP from Hornady and 135 grain Critical Duty from Hornady. It has run a couple of mags of each of those, and then again about 1,000 rounds, a little over 1,000 rounds of the rest of that 9mm ball ammo, not a single hiccup. Now for accuracy is going to be twofold with this. Controllability equals accuracy, right? The ability to get a good grip on the gun, the ability to implement good fundamentals and keep the gun on target. And then of course your trigger press, trigger control, which is aided with this very, very nice trigger. When I first shot this gun, the very first mag out of this gun, I did not like it. I know. Why have you talked so highly about it? Well, because it was just too small for my hands. It had the medium grip panel in it, and probably the first 300 rounds or so through it, I still had the medium grip panel in it, the back strap, and it was just like, I love shooting this gun. The trigger's great, it's accurate, all this stuff, but I can't hold on to it. And I'm gonna toot my own horn here and say that I have really, really, really good recoil mitigation. People have commented on it for a very long time in my videos. And so I was like, what is going on here? And then it occurred to me that I did have too small of, I hadn't put the large back panel in. And ever since then, oh, I love shooting this. It's super controllable for me. So it is a little snappy if it's not fitting your hand correctly. But as soon as I put that in there, oh boy, did this thing really get tamed down and under control for me. Shooting very accurate with it. I'm shooting anywhere from 1.5 to 3 inch groups, depending on various mitigating circumstances, how I'm shooting that day, the various ammo that I'm running, and things like that. I have grouped very, very small, and I've grouped fairly large. But either way, it's always right around fist size or smaller. So I think that accuracy with this pistol and controllability once I change that back strap is spot on. Now, I have talked about reliably functioning, that I haven't had a single problem. I haven't had a single problem, including some environmental testing, which was covering it in dirt, dropping the magazines in dirt, and soaking it with water and shooting it. Already better than SIG. Gotta wash it off. And for durability, I have done some basic mag drop tests with it, as well as I've already done an optic test with this pistol, and it was my Delta Team Tactical sent me an optic from North Tac that consequently failed, but this gun went through the drop test for that optic, and it has gone through the abuse and environmental tests that I've given it, that you have either seen or about to see. So it's a different gun. It's got a different body size than a Glock. It's got a little bit different dimensions than a Glock. So does it have any holster compatibility with other pistols out there on the market? To my knowledge, I don't know of any single pistol that it has holster. Let me back up. I don't have any knowledge of holster compatibility with a popular pistol, and that matters because if it's not a popular pistol, your holster options are significantly lower. With that said, I do know of a couple companies that are making holsters for them. One of them is Crossbreed, at least that's how they advertise it. I've not used it, so I can't say on the quality of it, although I've had Crossbreed holsters in the past that were just fine. A&R Designs, who sent me this holster, A&R does make a holster for the Rost Martin. Now, it is not a light-bearing holster. It is non-light bearing, but it is optic cut, 080 Kydex, all that stuff. A&R makes good holsters. So check out A&R Designs if it is something that you are thinking about carrying, or at least a pistol that you're thinking about buying. On the other hand, the Works M6 Outlier, which is the Works holster that is light dedicated, not pistol dedicated, I should say it indexes off the light, is what I've been using for it the most. And I say that not because of anything bad about the A&R holster. It's a perfectly fine, well-made holster, but I refuse to carry something without a light on it. So it fits great in the Outlier M6 from Works. It has the wedge built into it, claw built into it, all that stuff. 093 Boltron, I think. But yeah, so there are holster options out there for it, depending on the configuration that you want to run it in. So would I carry it? Well, it survived the environmental testing. It survived a flawless 1,000 rounds. It cycles the 2 types of carry ammo that I regularly carry. There are holster options, including my favorite holster company, which is Works. Has the mag capacity that I'm looking for, that 15 to 17 rounds, comes with a spare mag. Light bearing, optic ready, great trigger. That's a resounding yes. I would absolutely and will carry this pistol. In fact, it's probably going to end up being one of my primary carry pistols. Is it going to replace my Glock? It's not going to replace my Glock. But as far as one of my main pistols that I carry, there are 2 currently. This is going to replace one of them. So big question at the end of the day, price. So for the YouTube censors, I do not sell firearms. I'm not selling this firearm. I don't sell any firearms. I don't sell any regulated goods. RTT Guns and Gear does not sell anything, in fact. So I am about to tell the viewer how much this costs, and it's just so that they have all the information they possibly can. These come in right around $450. That is a shockingly low number for the build quality, reliability, and features that you get with this pistol. This is easily a $600 pistol that you are getting for $450-ish. I firmly believe that. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe. I'm going to leave ways that you can find all kinds of stuff that I talked about today, from holsters to optics to all that stuff, including to Rost Martin down below. I appreciate you guys out there watching. I very much appreciate Rost Martin for sending that out. Again, this was the standout pistol for me at SHOT Show 2024. In fact, it was the standout firearm for me at SHOT Show 2024. So I look forward to seeing what they do in the future. If it's anything nearly as good as what they got going on here, truly, this is one of those like hold my beer moments. Let's see what kind of shit I can do. And they came out swinging, seriously. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.